Alright, we need to have a frank talk about Arcadegeddon, right? Alright, so, alright, so, me and Digital Diver co-host and friend Sandsology spent the weekend at Armageddon, and ho boy, let me tell you. Alright, so let's just jump right into this, right? First thing you notice about the game is the music, right? First thing, you get into the music, you get into the menu, the music's bumping, you're like, alright, cool. Your head's bobbing, you're like, yo, this sounds like it's gonna be a fire-ass experience, right? Right? Well, it's probably gonna be one of the strongest perks of this game, okay? Because, so, alright, so you jump in, right? And you get the story, which actually isn't bad. It's actually pretty funny because it's pretty much subtext. Talking about AAA game corporations that have sold out to the dollar, and there are these indie devs fighting to stop the takeover of the quote-unquote fun corporation.
Sitting pretty at the top of the food chain is your classic evil mega corporation, Fun Co, aka the Man. A bunch of soulless leeches draining the arcade industry dry. Still, there are those who resist. Enter the gangs of Super City, who come from near and far. To Gilly's Arcade, the last bastion of true gaming in a sea of corporate bloodsuckers and sellouts.
You know, and that's actually an initial strong point of the game because it takes jabs at AAA corporations about how they've got lazy and greedy with their monetization schemes and other things, which I appreciate that, and a significant portion of the gaming populace agree that is kind of what happened to AAA gaming. It has kind of, you know, gotten really greedy and just lazy, especially with these incomplete games that have been coming out lately. So, I can appreciate the sentiment. I can. And then you get into and then you get past that, and it turns out you're the nephew of the biggest indie dev threat to FunCorp. And so you get to the hub, and your job is to help him, you know, stop the takeover. You know, and then you get into the game, and you get to the customization of your character. And you get this Osmosis Jones looking character model, which didn't bother me as much on the game page, but the character model just isn't as flattering as it looks on the game page. It just doesn't. You have these two skin types, which is a blue guy and a darker blue guy, which I'm guessing represents, you know, light and dark people in real life. And the glasses and the mask customization design options, I feel like they just try too hard to be unique, where it just looks gaudy and uninteresting, you know? You got these like kind of fuckboy haircut designs, the facial customization, the facial hair customization design, and just the facial hair models just don't really complement the character models when you apply it. It just looks weird to have any kind of facial hair on your character, and it's not complimenting at all. The clothes customizations at this point, it's really basic. There's really nothing looking forward to buying, because nothing really looks, you know, really that cool on your character. It just looks like kind of whatever. So you get to the tutorial practice level, and they're just shoving loot down your throat in the practice level, which makes you think that this game is going to be constantly shoving loot down your throat, right? And you know, throughout the game, throughout the mission or whatever, right? No, not exactly, and we'll get to that later. But then you walk around the hub world after the tutorial. You talk to these NPCs because your uncle has a crew of underground people that respects him and adores him, that help him take the fight to the corporation. So you want to get in good with these guys, right? So you talk to them to get these challenges, you know, so you can get more XP and get more points and things. And you just you look at them And it really looks like they're trying way too hard to be like cool and hip. And they all look like that if you combine them all, if you combine their powers, and instead of getting Captain Planet, you got like Captain Edgelord. You know, I don't know. It just like the designs just feel like they try too hard with the designs of these NPCs. They just look overdone and just not like, I don't know. They just look. All right, so all right. So I mean, those are my initial gripes with the design and the, you know, the overall aesthetic of the game is nice. It's very arcadey, you know, it's cool. But those are like my gripes with the designs of the NPCs, the character models, you know, customizations, right? I mean, it's a free game. I could virtually ignore that and get past that if the gameplay was fun and engaging, right? Okay, so, well, first we decided to do PvP, thinking that we were going to get into a lobby with a bunch of people. It was going to be like a traditional PvP with like team deathmatch, capture the flag, you know, multiplayer modes like that. But it was actually just the two of us, and with an occasional one or two other people, and we were doing challenge rounds with objectives, sort of like and similar to like a watered down version of Fall Guys, where you would just get in. It would be so like the objectives would be like, the person that stays on the block last lives. You know, that the person that stays on the block last grabs victory. There was a King of the Hill mode with snipers. There was like a mode where the person that kills the most NPC and other players win, which is the closest thing they had to deathmatch. And there was a sort of basketball game where you have to shoot the ball through an opening that is close to the ceiling, and you have like a bat with you, and so you're supposed to be swatting these guys and keeping them from keeping the ball, which kind of reminded me of like a low grade Rocket League, which was interesting. I mean, it was an interesting mode to add, but it was like, so there's 8 rounds, and you cycle through about 5 or 6 different challenges throughout these 8 rounds. And after 2 matches, I was sick of 2 of the challenge modes already. And it was just kind of disappointing that PvP felt so empty. Like, some challenges add NPCs to the challenge, and it would have been nice if all of the modes added NPCs to the challenge. Because if it's just 2 or 3 people, it's like some of the challenges, it's like it's okay. I mean, if you were friends, it's you can make it fun, but it just felt really empty. So they would decide, you know what? Let's just give PvE a try, right? Maybe it'll be better. Well, that just felt flat and uninteresting because the pacing was all off. You start off on easy, right? And you're pretty much overpowered from the start, because once you get a weapon and you find a couple perks, you're pretty much overpowered from the start because you're on easy. And you have very little opposition. There's no challenge to the point of boredom, and honestly, that would be an understatement. And you have to, so you have to pay to increase you have to pay in-game currency to increase your difficulty. And if you don't have enough money because you spent it on guns, or you spent it on in-mission perks, or you spent it on other things, then sometimes it can take 2 to 4 missions, which each mission is about like 10-15 minutes. It can take you a while to see any kind of significant difficulty spike for any challenge. And so you're just fighting boring NPCs that barely take a shot at you. And there are certain times where you have to quote unquote survive a horde, and the horde's like 10 to 11 to 12 people, NPCs that barely try to touch you. And you can pay to upgrade your difficulty. You can pay in-game currency to upgrade your difficulty, like I said, but we had to upgrade it from 1 to 6 just to get a challenge. And the loot isn't rotating often enough to keep the gun selection interesting. And we've checked, we would be checking the whole arena. We would be checking the whole arena for anything, you know, any guns, weapons, you know, all the other stuff, and it just wasn't happening often enough to keep things interesting. And it was just, but when you do get guns, sometimes you do get like some chests where it's like 2 or 3 chests in a row, you're getting guns, you get different guns, and that's when it does get interesting. Alright. So, there are some fun parts of the game. There really are. So, the array of weapons is actually interesting. The selection of weapons, you get different kinds of like rocket launchers, different kinds of laser weapons. I couldn't even remember some of the ones I got. Some weapons that are like more like ionized energy, and you just charge it up and shoot it, kind of like a BFG. So, you know, that was cool to experience, and some of the guns are really satisfying to use. And when you get a weapon that you vibe with, it is pretty fun. You know, but whether you have fun with the loot just depends on your experience with random loot. Another fun highlight is just wrecking people to the music. The music is the one consistently amazing thing about this game. The music just feels really swaggy and just really cool. And when you're just like wrecking shit, whether it's NPCs or other players, when you're wrecking shit to the music, it feels really dope, and it feels really fun. So there's that. Also, the level designs were really nice. Some of them gave me like a Spyro kind of Sonic feel. That was always nice, you know, get that kind of not only nostalgia, but just get that like really fun arcadey, you know, feeling. And that was really cool. And another fun thing, which I think was probably one of my personal highlights, was the surge moves. So the surge moves are things where once you build up enough actions and kill enough people, you get access to a surge move. And some of these include fireballs, black holes, summoning a titan, an orbital strike, you know, the real fun shit. And it's pretty much like an alternate fire or like a super move for your weapon, but really it's just like a super move for yourself. And, you know, it's really satisfying to pull these off and just seeing all these bodies drop, especially if you're like in a pinch. And it can be so satisfying to use, and especially use against a boss, you know. And speaking of bosses, remember what I said, like the pacing was all off? Let's talk about the boss battles. Okay, so me and Sands, we fought this boss for almost an hour. Just to get his health to 40% lower than it being full health. And I know what you're gonna say. You're gonna be like, well, Jay, you turned difficulty all the way up to 6. What'd you expect? And my rebuttal to that is, so I have to sacrifice 85% of intense, challenging PvE combat, which is all the missions leading up to the boss battle, for the 10 to 15% of the game that is left for the boss battles. Like, that's, you see what I mean? Like, there's a balancing issue with difficulty. Like, I should be able to get engaging PvE action against NPCs, as well as have a satisfyingly challenging boss. You know, I shouldn't have to worry about upping the difficulty just to have challenging NPCs and they'll be like, oh man, well this boss is gonna be crazy, this boss is gonna be difficult. You know, just I shouldn't have to. It takes way too long. It takes way too long for the combat to get challenging, to the point where you have to artificially spike the difficulty 6 levels just to get something that's actually engaging and challenging to you. You know, and especially if you're doing it with a friend, that makes it all the more important that there's a challenge there, because then you're just going to be blasting things with no incentive to even shoot straight because of how easy it is. You know? And then you get to this boss after spiking a 6 difficulty so you can get a challenge. You get to this boss that's super spongy, that's really annoying. The NPCs get annoying. They think it's just random accuracy out of nowhere, you know, after not being able to shoot straight for an hour. You know, and it just takes way too long to defeat the boss. Now, that could have been that specific boss because the boss had a force field, or it could be just typical bosses in general, but it just was really spongy, and it was just, yeah, it just wasn't fun. We ended up leaving because it was like 2 o'clock in the morning, and we were just like, alright, we're just gonna call it quits. We've been at this for an hour, we only got his health down to 40%, and that's what both of us firing at him with rocket launchers, all kinds of super weapons, you know, and then super powerful assault rifles. So we were just like, all right, fuck it, whatever. So we left. So I mean, all right. So I mean, here's the thing. Here's the thing. There is a good game in here somewhere, and I mean, you could take this game as it's just a free game to play, brain deadly, super brain deadly. To the point we can probably play with one-handed and still be all right. And if you're taking it with that, where you're just using it to kill time with friends, fine, fair. That's fine. And it's a free game, so it's fine. But honestly, like, if they could just fix the balancing between the difficulties and kind of smooth that out and make the pacing a little bit better, and fill out the PvP with more people in a server, and even with NPCs in all of their modes, then this would be a better game. It would be better. And it might not take off. It might not take off with these improvements, but it could at least hold an audience, even if it's niche. You know, so I mean, honestly, I'd have to give this game. I'm not even using my typical rating system because it's not with this game right now. I would say it's a solid 5 out of 10. I mean, honestly, like, I couldn't even give it a 6. I really wanted to, but like, I can't even give it a 6, man. Like, this game is like a solid 5, man. Like, honestly. So this has been the first impressions. This has been the weekend at Arcadegeddon. Sorry. And yeah, that's what we think. Tell me all your thoughts in the comments below. If you like this impressions video, like, subscribe. Let us know what you want to see us do next. Let us know what reviews you want us to do next, or what topics you want us to talk about on the Proper Gaming Talk Show on Fridays. Let us know in the comments section down below. Thank you guys. This has been JayDubbs with Digital Dive In. Peace out. Keep chasing your dreams, y'all.